very eventful birthday week. We are back, another episode of On The Brink. What's good, everybody? My name is Malcolm Alexander Brinkley, and I just want to thank you for all the support. Today we have an amazing guest, my sister, one of the most talented DJs this side of the Mississippi. Quite frankly, probably one of the best DJs in the world. And the world's getting a chance to see that right now because, yes, as DJs, we are incredible and we can create an experience because that's what we do. We do it in the club. But can we translate and can we pivot? Can we do that in the virtual space? Well, DJ AK-47. She is no stranger to the On The Brink brand. She has DJ'd for Capacity, Disco Party. She has DJ'd actually at the Blind Barber and also the virtual one we had last year. But she's just making incredible waves in the virtual space. She just passed 3,000 followers on Twitch, and some may understand how big that is and some may not. But when you get a chance to see how she makes an experience and how she brings it right to your own home, you'll see exactly the power I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up right now for my sister, DJ AK-47. You sound great. You look great.
You look good. You look blessed.
You look blessed today, sister. Y'all, man, my girl DJ AK-47. Okay. My first impression of you, right?
Oh God, give me the honest, clear, unadulterated truth. I would like to hear this.
Honest to God, AK, right? Immediately when I met you, I know you remember the circumstance. I said,
"Oh Lord, the chains of the slavery."
I said that's exactly what it was. And I remember I said, oh, AK ain't nothing to fuck with. Like immediately, I was
Lord.
just like, she ain't nothing to fuck with. And from that day, I was like, we gonna connect. And what I loved about how we met is you kind of thought, you're like, ooh, I don't know about him, and I love that because it brought us.
Because in those settings, you're not sure. You know what I'm saying? Because the code switching that happens, and you're just like,
yeah. But it brought it full circle pre-pandemic when I asked you to DJ Capacity for me, and I had to have you at Capacity. I had to have you here on The Brink. I'm dumb excited. It was such a full circle moment for me because you were just like, Malcolm, I didn't know, but like, you a real one. And I think coming from you and seeing your integrity and how you took a stand for yourself upon the first circumstance of how I met you, for you to call me a real one, it meant a lot coming from you. And so I know that's kind of a longer introduction. I'm not trying to hog the mic. I want you to speak, but I really want to say that I genuinely value our friendship and where your integrity is one of your most admirable qualities.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, some people, it's all about perception. So, doesn't always land the way that I want it to.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. As y'all can see, if you're watching us, of course you got to be watching us. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. But if you are listening, and we appreciate your subscriptions, we appreciate your listens there. AK is looking lovely. She has the whole green screen, background, got the effects. I need y'all to make sure that you hop on her biddy committee because she's shutting down Twitch. You're now approaching 3,000 followers on Twitch, or no, you're over that?
No, not yet. I just hit 2,500. So we're not there yet. Yeah, we still got a ways to go.
All I'm saying is that if what you're seeing right now is any indicator of why you should go and check out AK on Twitch, you really inspired me during the pandemic. Your hustle is undoubtable. So we're gonna get into all of that in the world of DJ AK-47. But first, I have to ask you, what are you on the brink of?
Evolution. On the brink of evolution. I think that more so than ever, I'm realizing like life is so fluid. It's moving, it's changing.
Yeah.
Things don't always stay exactly the same. And I feel like I was the kind of person who I don't like things to change, things changing at an abrupt pace for me was kind of brought me a little bit of anxiety.
Sure.
So I feel the way that I was kind of moving was that certain things or people or places or opportunities would always be available, or I have time.
Yeah.
So, now I'm just like, laser focused that, we don't really know how much time we have. So, although it is something that we say all the time, oh, you got to remember life is short, every day is not promised. Like, from the core of my soul, even things that you don't think can be changed. Your way of life,
Come on.
how you fellowship with people, how
Yeah.
you gather with people, how you make your money,
Yeah.
whatever. You
Yeah.
you you understand what I'm saying? So,
Look, everything is fluid. Everything is ever changing, and I think
yeah.
like a large part of life is you got to surrender to that. You got to surrender to creator, source, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you believe in, right? It's just at the end of the day, it's like the growth, and it's not easy. At least I think what the world's experienced during COVID, it's not an easy process. But when you surrender to the change, and you are such like an example of that, where a lot of DJs, will jump into the virtual. Some completely are still resisting it. You are hot in the club. I'm not going to say we're hot. You are still hot in the club, but you've brought it to the virtual space. And what I
Mhm.
admire is the discipline. And I think that's just what it is. You are an indicator and a great example of it might be hard, but you embrace the change.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that sometimes our parents, like the way that we're being raised, is not giving us the exact tools to kind of navigate through certain things. So for me, as a child, I did have strict
Sure.
parenting, but I was like very spoiled. So it's
Yeah.
like I feel a lot of parents dote on children for things that are not really going to help you out in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, they're cute or they're this. I mean, like if you're cute, it's just a roll of the dice, right? You really don't
Mhm.
have anything to do with that. So for me, I had the mentality like, oh, if I can't master it, like if I feel like I want to do it and I can't master it right away,
Yeah.
the ego is too bruised.
Mm.
Then I don't want to do it. I'm tapping out. Like if it's too much work. So I was kind of that child,
Yeah.
young adult, adolescent,
Sure, sure, sure.
adult at sometimes also because I got to take ownership for that.
Look, because it doesn't go away. What
No,
we call them the childhood programs. It doesn't go away. I think growth in adult life comes when we acknowledge that it's going to be there, and we
yeah,
develop ways to continue on, nevertheless.
yeah. So I mean, all of the whole entire road for me to even get here to commit to this the way that I do was just a lot of trial and error
Yeah,
because a lot of times I didn't commit to certain things. So
yeah,
when people say, "Oh my God, like you're so focused and you're able to do this and do that," I'm like, "Child, if I show you how many scars are on these knees as I have scraped through this life trying to figure out that formula, it
yeah,
was like a long road for me to get here." I mean, thank you for the compliment, but
yeah,
it was not without, a lot of haphazard behavior and just not just all this other stuff, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Totally.
Like all this other stuff that had nothing to that was directly had something to do with it, but at the same time really didn't have anything to do with
Do
anything.
that at
Like
all? Yeah,
at the end of the day, like most of the things that bring you that type of joy,
mhm,
it's not easily attainable. You feel
yeah.
me? Like it
Of
is
course,
some sacrifice and
of course.
you do have to give up some things to get other things. It's difficult, it's
Yeah,
difficult to be discipline and change and all of this. Sometimes I don't got it,
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
I do not have it, but
Well, I mean, but I think that's why I wanted, like, I mean, maybe that's why we're having the conversation right now. Let me not say that. I love talking to you just anytime, and you are one of the realists. You're conversational. There's nothing about you that's like fake or like I gotta go. Like you'll really be on. Like I remember you called me after capacity. Like you called me before and after capacity one time, and you were just on the phone. Like I was like, oh. In my head, I put people on a pedestal. So to me, I'm like, I know AK moving and shaking right now. She probably has 5 minutes, and like we were on the phone for like an hour, and just big upping one another, and sharing and sharing in testimony, and like I said, it was one of those full circle moments for me where I'm just like, wow, it's incredible how disciplined you are, and I think in this virtual space and in this pandemic, especially with you on Twitch, I think we're seeing that discipline kind of living out loud in a
Mhm.
sense. Because, like, yeah, I think even pre pandemic, when we were allowed to DJ events and in the club, there's some nights where, like, we just we still don't want to be there. We still don't want to have to
No,
do it.
yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
but
for
but
sure.
but you keep showing up, and you show, and you're pivoting, and I see you changing times now, and you're changing your program schedule. But either way, it's a show, and you're committed, and I think that's what encapsulates the message of On The Brink, right? Is that despite it all, you are committed, and the hustle's there. Has your perception of your hustle, has it changed maybe pre-pandemic to now? Like how has the pandemic played a role in maybe how you even work or look at your own work life and work ethic?
I think the seed was planted prior to the pandemic.
Yeah.
I had like a big pivot or a shift maybe about a year ago. My DJ bag got stolen, all my music, like you
Mm,
already know the story. Like it
mhm.
was pretty dramatic and traumatic.
Yeah, yeah. Well, some might. I mean, if you're willing to share it. I mean, of course, I know this, but
Yeah.
I love the tales for the listeners because it really embodies that adversity.
Yeah. I mean, it rocked
Yeah.
my entire being, to say the least. I did a job. It was a free job. I was volunteering my time. Packed up my car. Accidentally left my DJ backpack in the backseat of my car, which I've never done, and I've been
Yeah.
DJing about 7 years now, so I've never done that. It was so weird. My key fob had a low battery, so I don't think that I even locked my car, and I thought that I did.
Hmm.
And the bag was in the car. I had about 6K, 7K worth of gear in the bag, and all of my music that I had curated and had and picked up over the years in that bag, a couple of hard drives, and
Yeah.
it was just gone. It just was gone. It disappeared. It was gone. It was not in the car.
Oh, I
It
couldn't
was gone.
imagine.
Like it literally was gone. So
That is every DJ's, or I mean DJ, maybe, I do DJ, I do a little video. I
yeah,
mean, it's just when you
yeah,
have expensive gear and that is your livelihood,
yeah. No
you think about it.
laptop,
Yeah.
no music, no nothing. But
Ugh.
here is the reason why, if I could rewind back and
Yeah.
say, oh, if you could take it back, would you go? I would go through the exact same thing again,
Sure.
because one thing that happened was a decision that I made for myself to get DJ insurance actually came in handy for this. And I was able to get
Okay.
reimbursed for all of my stuff. So I have made a
That's
decision to
amazing.
spend some money
Yeah.
that I didn't necessarily want to spend the lump sum of money for the DJ insurance for the year. It was a
Mhm.
little pricey,
Of course.
but I just followed my first mind. I have a friend, you know him, DJ Zammy, and was like, you should get
Oh
some
yeah.
insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got
We
the
love them.
insurance and bought, got the package, paid for it in full,
Hmm.
for the year. And lo and behold, when the stuff got stolen, guess what? The DJ insurance made a way for me to replace my stuff, for me
Amazing.
to get the newer version of things that I was
Yeah.
replacing.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like I was a tad too comfortable. I didn't realize it at the time,
Mm.
but I have been DJing for so long that I just felt like, sometimes I went from showing up to gigs 2 hours prior to maybe getting there 45 minutes, 30 minutes before the
Mm.
gig.
Mm.
Or I would prep for every single job because I don't like to repeat sets or go into crates like I'm going to use this for this party. Because here's the thing,
Mhm.
even if there's one person in the United States of America and this one person is my number one fan and follows me everywhere, I
Yeah.
don't want to be playing the same set
Of
when this
course.
person is showing up following me everywhere. So
Oh yeah.
I just kind of got away from that. I wasn't making time for me to do my scratch practicing, which is something that I've been like dragging my ass on hard body for at least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So I just felt like when that happened, it was a resurgence, a rebirth. Like
Yeah.
it was like I started from zero, but I already had a certain amount of years of knowledge under my belt.
Mhm.
So it allowed me to just have a different level of tenacity,
Yeah.
a different level of purpose, not be
Yeah.
so focused on the negatives and the L's. Oh, I'm not getting just this job, or oh, nobody really knows me, or oh, I think I'm such an amazing DJ and I want to book this job, but these people don't know who I am. Well, sis, that's a lot of energy to be focused on the what is not
Ooh.
happening
Ooh.
versus
You better say a word.
what is happening
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you giving 110% to the people that do know you,
Sure.
because you can't play music for people that don't know you, because those people,
Hmm.
not that they don't matter, but at this moment they don't matter. The
They don't
only people
matter.
that matter are the people that are giving you chances and booking you,
Yep.
that are not looking at your age or your race or the way that you speak
Hmm.
to be something that it has to be a negative connotation,
Yeah,
that believe in you, that want to continue to work with you, that suggest you to other people.
of course.
Those are the people that you're really working for. And those are the people that are going to carry you on to the journey. So it was like a switch, like
Yeah.
it was just a shift. You know what I mean? I feel I was a tad disgruntled
Hmm.
about a whole bunch of shit that I really couldn't control. And it just,
It was almost an ego death for you of a
it was
sort.
everything dumb. Like,
Yeah.
girl, get your
Yeah.
situation all the way together, start from the inside out.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it, put in the amount of focus and hours that you need
Hmm.
to get the results that you need.
Yeah.
No, we're not, it's not there is no excuse now. You have all of your shit back.
Hmm.
You're gonna have to get all of your music back. It is what it is. You could cry about it every day and you'll still need to get the music back. So why
Yeah.
not start getting the music back,
Yeah.
as opposed to telling this story over and over again? And then that, with that mindset, is the reason how I landed here and am doing well in this space, only
Yeah.
because of that.
Damn. I let it breathe. That is an incredible story. Like, no, it's just, it's not even a story. I mean, it's a testimony because I think it, yeah, we can continue the negative self-talk. And that's something that I'm always having to remind myself as far as like lessons of just self-kindness and not kicking myself when I'm down. Cause it's like, we ain't gonna go nowhere if we kick ourselves while we're down. Like we're not, you know what I'm saying? That we could sit in our shit no matter what life throws at us, or we can just choose in to hustling. Like, you know, we could
But
choose
it's a
in to getting to
perspective,
work.
right? Like, are we
Yeah.
really down, or are
Yeah.
we choosing
Look, they
to
don't want to hear you now.
focus?
They don't want to hear you now. Look,
I
but
mean, are we really down? I mean, because at the end of the day, right? I can still go to the bathroom unassisted. I can
yeah.
walk.
Hmm.
I can see.
Yeah.
My hearing is still good, so I can work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any major illnesses. I
Mhm.
have a clean place to live. I have a car. Like, so
Yeah.
am I really down, or is it like what else is happening? And so that's a me thing. That's not a you thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how always sometimes we get a little, we hear too many good things too many times, and we start feeding into the bullshit. It's like,
Hmm.
sis,
Hmm.
always the student.
Yeah. Oh, look,
Always the
always a
student,
student
sis.
in life. Always a student. I love to say that because it's just like, yeah, I'm always in school. There's always going to be. I've heard a teacher once say, the conversation and change and growth stops when you say I know. And it's
Mm,
not and it's not to say that, you know, to discredit knowledge, but when you stop, right, and if I stop you, or if I stop myself and say, well, yeah, I know how to do this, I know one way of doing this, I know how to live life, I know how to do this one thing, we
yeah.
don't leave room or give space for new information, for a new attitude, for a new perspective. And it's like that new perspective most times, like what you learn through your journey, especially in losing your DJ gear, that's what brought you to now, and to be on Twitch. And again, I'm not here to define you strictly as a Twitch DJ. It's not that.
Yeah.
I do consider you one of the most successful Twitch DJs in my circle, and
Oh, thank you.
you
I
continue.
appreciate that.
No, for real, and you continue to shut it down, like regardless of numbers. Like it's not a numbers thing. It's like it's for real, like a vibe, and like watching how you've like evolved from. I remember like the first set, you know, and you had
Hmm.
like, I remember you had the damn vinyl, like you know, and you had
Yeah.
the record player in the back, like to where you've brought it to now. And we'll get into all the intricacies because like I mean I'll just watch sometimes in awe. Like one of my favorites was I love Busta, I love Flip Mode. You did his Extinction Level release party. You know what I'm saying? You know what you
Yeah.
did with
That
that.
was dope.
That was so cool.
I
And
hit 1K on that stream too. That was crazy. It
you
was dope.
damn right you did. See, like I
Yeah.
didn't realize. So where it's like to me, I didn't see the numbers. I just saw the production, and I'm like, yo, this shit is like crazy. Like, what is the mindset then that keeps you going? What's the mindset, or what's the procedure almost? What is your modality to continue on virtually DJing, right? And Twitch DJing. Like I said, I'm not going to put you as strictly a Twitch DJ. But right now, that's where a lot of us are. And you do it so well, you do it consistently. I know you have help, but what's the mindset that keeps you going and also keeps you evolving in this space?
I think there really, it's not a mindset per se, because this is just where I was led to. Sometimes things happen that lead you to a certain place. So I only got here because Instagram shuts off your lives.
Yep.
That's the only reason why I'm on Twitch. Like, it wasn't about anything, because I was DJing on Instagram,
Yep.
except for a couple of partnerships that I did. Most of it was for free, when I would DJ on Instagram, just because I wanted to play music. Because the biggest thing for me, that if there's anything that I want people to know when I DJ, is that I need you to understand that the music for me is a part of my life. It's a part of my soul, my makeup, my being. Like, the work that I do is God's work. Like, I was put on this earth to do this work. And it's not about anything else besides everything else that happens after that. I'm down. Bring it on. But the fact of the matter is the music for me is a whole other part of my purpose in this world. And so I don't want to be cut off while I'm playing music, because I am connecting with this music as I'm playing, and I'm getting into a groove, and I'm going into a zone. So when the music shuts off, now I got to recalibrate, refocus myself. It's another thing that happens. It's not just about the technology shutting down. So that was sending me. I was like, okay, this is getting on my nerves. Also, just to be totally honest, with the wave of the DJs, and we all know how the wave started. We don't need to go into names of who started it. And
Sure.
But the wave, it just got to be oversaturated, right? So
yeah, of course.
Just like with
And
people that
Instagram
make,
also gave special permission to some of those DJs and didn't give it the same permissions to.
which is neither here nor there, and I'm not going to get caught up in that, because
Yep.
if I had the juice, I would utilize the juice. So I'm not mad at it.
Come
But,
on, right? I'm definitely not saying that, and it's no shade, it's no hate. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I think we were getting kind of sucked into that, and I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't want to get sucked up into a sea of people that are not DJing for the same reason that I'm DJing for. I don't want to sit and watch you do a stream and you're not into it, and you don't love the music, and you're not handling it with the level of importance that somebody that is really mesmerized by this music and has a genuine connection. I'm not into it. Like, all of it is just, a lot of it is fluff. I just don't want to be in the sea of that. So I was like, I could chill, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not doing lives to stroke my ego. It's like to feed me in a certain way that makes me feel good. So I was like, I don't really need to be streaming, you know what I'm saying, if it's going to be under these circumstances. So my production team, Lucrative One, she's like, listen, I've been on Twitch hanging out. Now, she's a photographer, so she was just on Twitch kind of like watching DJs. And she had told me, you should get on Twitch. And I'm like, I'm not downloading another app, first of all. That's not going to happen. I'm over it. I don't feel that I need to do that. And then I don't understand it. What are the emotes? Like, it's it's too much. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So she's like, download it, take a look, just hang out. So I'm trying to navigate through, like, if I could even figure this out.
Yeah. And
I'm like,
a monster. Twitch is a monster.
I'm like, I don't got it. I don't have it. Like, it's already enough to figure out, the audio for certain venues and how to hook up to them and deal with all of their stuff at the venue, let alone a gaming app, extra laptops, overlays. Like, what?
It's a lot.
I don't know.
Really
I just prepare sets and I play music. The other stuff, I don't know. She's like, all right, listen, I'm going to do the other stuff, because she, like I said, is a photographer, graphic designer, does all of this awesome stuff. Photoshop. She's like, I want to get into helping people do overlays because the stuff that I'm seeing on Twitch, like I just know that it could be better. There's a bunch of cool stuff that you can
Yeah.
do and unlock. And so what I'll do is I'll work on yours.
Yeah.
I'm not going to charge you the same price that I charge everyone else's. And then when I get clients, I can show them what
Dude,
I'm
your work,
doing for
of course.
you to have an example of the work. I'm like, all right, dope, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So she made some shit for me. I'm like, this looks dope.
Yeah.
Let's stream. So we just started streaming. Me and those 3 or 4 people that would hang out with me in my chat
Yep.
and
Yep.
say, this is dope.
Yeah.
And I would be playing like I had the house was packed and it was going down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
those couple of people. And that's how it all got rolling. Like I understood nothing. I just showed up and said, let me just make sure I have a good set and I play good music and we're going to see what happens from there.
Yeah. That, like, look, I mean, and it's been a snowball effect with your audience ever since. And,
It's been kind of crazy,
yeah,
very unexpected.
you amass more. It's really cool because, you know, I'll watch you sometimes, or, you know, I think I've tagged you in a few my Instagrams, and I'll have you up here on the big screen of my projector sometimes. And if I have, like, you know, like my girlfriend could be over, or I could have a friend socially distant over, but people just fall in love with you, man. Anytime I have you on, people are just like, oh my God, she's so great, she's so good, she's so talented. And it's been, I know I keep saying it, but it's just been so cool seeing you rise.
It has been cool.
Yeah,
it has been cool,
it's
actually.
been dope. It's been entertaining, you know. And it's like to hear the full story in context of how it wasn't always easy, but the discipline and the mindset that it takes to continue on. That's what's inspiring. And I know for the people watching and listening, it speaks to them as well. And whether a DJ or a designer or any other type of artist and entrepreneur, I feel like there's that common thread as far as consistency in overcoming adversity and resilience to get to where you want to go. You said that you've been DJing for 7 years, right? Which is a long time and a short amount of time, depending on who you're asking. I want to know what sparked that DJ journey for 7 years. And, you know, was it a song? Was it a moment?
My life is the moment. I was named after an album. I mean, it's not on me. It's in me. You know what I'm saying? So
come on.
It was already just written, you know, but I went through a lot of paths to kind of get here and figure it out. I've always wanted to be a DJ, maybe since my 20s, early 20s, maybe around 20.
Yeah.
Felt like I wanted to DJ. You know what I mean? I just didn't, you know, my parents, I think, were the last generation of those Black parents that are like, you go to really good schools, you get a really good job.
Yeah.
And that's just what you do. Right. So I was kind of like groomed to follow that path. I need to go to school. I need to go to college. I need to be in corporate America.
Yeah.
And I did all of that. You know, I did that. And, you know, it's kind of was like a thing that I did because I knew that I could do it. Not necessarily, I didn't feel the same type of passion that I feel for the music that I did when I was in the corporate world with fashion and stuff like that. Because, you know, anytime corporate gets involved, the shit ain't as fly, you know, it's kind of watered down. So it's all these different setups and like hierarchy in corporate America. Like as a Black woman, like I'm tired. I don't want to play this game here anymore. Like I don't really subscribe to having to go to work and like kind of mute down my vibe. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to say what I want to say, how I want to say it, whether it's sis the girl or not. It just depends on the vibe. And you still respect me and you still see me as someone that's articulate and smart and all of these things. I don't want to have to do that other stuff. And corporate America has a thing where they like to hire people that look like me, that are non-threatening, you know, and I'm very much so a surprise. Okay,
so a surprise, but again, as I said at the beginning, AKA not to fuck with. So it's just
very much a surprise. So you get me in these situations, and it's like, okay, this is cute, making the money. And when I was making the money, I was just spending the money, buying bags and dumb shit, shoes and, not saving and buying cars. It just was a mess to me. I feel like not a lot of purpose there, not really super fulfilled. And I had other jobs in a creative lane. I did stand up for like 5 years before I even DJ'd.
No
You know what I
way.
mean?
I no, no,
Yeah.
actually, I recall hearing you say that, but
Yeah.
oh man, that's crazy.
I love to do it
Yeah,
too. I
yeah.
loved stand up. It was fun.
Would you go back?
I think that I would. I think that I would.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none.
I say it
So
all the time, girl. I
I'm
get it, right?
just
Show mastery
trying
in one thing,
to
you know?
master this thing. And
Yeah,
once I got that, then I will have the elbow room and the leeway to do other things. You know what I
sure.
mean? Because I do like to display art in a way of connecting with people. Stand up is very personal. DJing is very personal. It's
Yeah,
a way of speaking
yeah,
without speaking, even though you're
mhm,
speaking in stand up, but the
mhm.
way that stand up is kind of pieced together and how you formulate a set and the
Yeah.
way you go about it, the nuances, and it's still not speaking exactly to the story how it would happen, or some
No.
things are made bigger or some things
Mhm.
are eliminated from the story, but it is a way of communicating, you know what I'm saying some things that might be uncomfortable.
I was gonna
And
say
that,
it's like a really cathartic way of really
yeah.
being vulnerable too, you know?
Oh yeah,
Eh, eh,
there's no dancers, no band, just you.
no, no, not
Yeah.
at all. And to have that honesty with the audience, no matter how you choose to like create the story or or what's on your mind. I like my favorite comedians and comedy is one of the things I've never done stand up. Sometimes I say I'm like, it'd be cool to give it a shot one day, but
It's hard. It's
it's
hard.
hard and it's an art. I've just always found myself studying comedy from just the sheer art
Yeah.
form of what it is and it's not just simple going on stage and delivering a joke. It's
No.
it's developing an experience. It's developing a story. I had
Hmm.
someone ask me, what goes into song selection and what goes into your mind when it comes to mixing, and I said, oh, like, what's the recipe to a movie? I'm like, I need rising action, I need a climax, I need falling action, like I need a journey from front to back of a
Hmm.
set, and a comedy set is no different.
Hmm. Yeah. They're pretty similar, actually. I mean, you just need the basis to be authenticity.
Hmm.
That's what makes it good. You have to have the ability for people to connect with you. And if you're like making up shit, then the connection is not going to happen. So
Definitely,
that's what the music and the stand up.
definitely. Do
Yeah.
you? Uh, I want to know. I mean, you reach such, again, this is subjective to my opinion, but I feel like you reached such a level of success on Twitch. Do you see yourself like ever going back to the club? Because I'd like to assume that you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well for yourself financially off Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but nothing is going to ever take the place of
Yeah,
the bass in the room,
hmm,
you know what I mean?
of
Walls
course, of
sweating.
course. Come on.
It's just not, it is not the same. You know what I mean? I can channel the energy and the experience that I'm having,
Yeah,
but the way that I feed off of my audience through Twitch
yeah,
is very different than the way that I can feed off my audience when I'm DJing in person. But it's also a little bit more intimate on Twitch because when I go to a club, bar, lounge,
yeah.
for the most part, I'm in the shadows. Unless I'm at a corporate event, I'm in the middle of everything. The spotlight is on me. More
Definitely.
so when you're a corporate event DJ, you
Mhm.
become a part of the production. You're
Yeah,
on some
yeah,
pedestal,
definitely.
you're in some cool DJ
You got some
booth.
lights
They've
around you. Yeah,
outfitted
yeah,
you in the brand's outfit. Like it's this whole thing. Like you're a part of the production.
yeah.
In
Mhm.
a bar, not so much. You're ducked off in a corner. You might be above the crowd. It's really dark. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
sure,
Like
sure,
the
sure.
spotlight is not on you.
Hmm.
On Twitch, the spotlight is on me. I am
You are the main
what these
attraction.
people are focusing on.
Yeah,
There's lighting, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
If I make a facial expression like I'm irritated, people can see it. Like it's a lot of working parts and moving parts. So the intimacy that is there on Twitch,
Yeah.
I think has helped me become a better DJ.
Hmm.
But the electricity of a real room with real bodies is unmatched.
Yeah.
And I will never just be a virtual online DJ.
Yeah.
I will still tap into this because I think as the world changes and we kind of segue into the new normal, should we say,
Yeah.
a lot of people are going to see a resource and saying, well, let's get you to stream
Hmm.
instead of flying you to Russia, paying for a hotel and having to pay you.
Yeah.
This way, we could just pay you for the job. And as long as you have the equipment to give us a professional stream, you can book the job. So I
Yeah.
do think it is important.
Yeah.
And I'm not building the fan base to just leave it. You know what I mean? But
Of
I
course.
definitely want to be in the room with some real people dancing, having that experience in person. Like you can't replace that.
A whole lot more on the brink when we get back. But first, a word from our sponsors. And I just want to shout out our On the Brink Patreon. You know, everything about the On the Brink brand is independently funded. And so your support is needed and appreciated now more than ever. From our podcast production to our live events, even to our virtual events, our merchandising, everything is all, as I said, independently funded. So head over to our Patreon for exclusive access into the world of On the Brink today. It's patreon.com/OTBrink. All right, let's get back to the show. Nothing compares to it. I feel
No.
like that's just been one of the hardest things for me, and it's like I'm always. I think for the Twitch thing, I might have my hand sometimes in too many things, and I do have
Yeah.
like maybe newer Twitch aspirations, and I have an idea of maybe where to take even On the Brink as a podcast to Twitch instead of just strictly DJing. But it sometimes I feel like I have
I
my
think
hand.
that would be dope for you.
Yeah, yeah. No, trust me. I won't say too much, but it's coming. So just stay ready. You can still follow
Yeah.
OT Break on Twitch, but it's one of those, it's one of those things that maybe I had my hands dipped in too many things to focus on strictly music, strictly that. And you said, you have a team, and that's what helps. It's like, if you want, you can go somewhere fast, or you can go somewhere, far. And most people want to go far, and it takes a team to go, and it takes community to go somewhere far.
Hmm.
Was there a point during your Twitch journey that did allow you to not, because I know for some people still keep their day job. Like, is Twitch like lucrative enough to where like you're eating, you're able to eat really well? Because I feel like some people, we don't know, right? We say, well, is it going to take this amount of followers? Is it going to take this many, listens or views to get me to a place financially that the return on investment for your time is worth
I'm
it?
not getting as much money as the time that I'm putting in.
Uh,
Absolutely not. I mean, a real job,
yeah,
like my rate is my rate. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I'm not a cheap DJ.
yeah.
I'm not
No,
a cheap DJ because I factor in, I use industry standard gear.
yep,
So all of my gear is, pretty expensive. It's
yep,
brands and companies that big theaters and stages and all
yep.
these type of people use, so I'm gonna have enough sound for your space,
Of
and
course, of
it's going
course,
to be a certain level of professionalism that you pay for, you know what I'm saying?
of course.
So
It's
the
been,
money is not the same,
yeah,
but the money is good. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It's not the same, but it's good for me to not have left the house. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? For
of
it to be
course.
contained and I'm in my dining room and I haven't had to drive anywhere
Yeah,
or do any of that, then it's good. But, I'm not getting all the money. Twitch takes their cut.
yeah,
And, even if all of these people, it would be better off for me if all these people were just giving me a Cash App or a Venmo, but that's not how Twitch works.
yeah, yeah,
And quite honestly, it's funny. I get a payout once a month. I don't check it. I
yeah,
don't see it unless I see an email come through like, "Oh, you got this much." And I'll look at it like, "Oh, wow,
okay,
I
cool.
got that
Yeah,
that much."
yeah,
Because I just learned that chasing the numbers, any of them, the payout, the followers, the numbers chasing thing gets in the way of me connecting to the music. I need the switch to turn on when I'm playing the
let it
music
breathe. I love
where
it.
you can see,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah,
When you watch me DJ, you're gonna say, okay, yeah, She's in her zone. Like this is her element. So the numbers, I'm telling you, once I stopped caring about the stuff that we usually care about,
Mhm. That's where you opened up. That's where you saw the light, maybe.
baby, she blessed. That's all I can say. Like
I love that.
blessed and highly
And
favored. And
highly favored.
when
And
God says yes,
it,
you know what I'm saying? That's
hey,
it.
hey, look, no, I'm gonna bring the church organs in for the effects and posts just drive the story home even more.
Oh my gosh.
No, well, I love what you mentioned about yeah, like we in this new normal, we really can't abandon or disregard the virtual space. I mean, even for the holidays, because like I'm Twitch, like I said, for me, that's an animal, and that's why I applaud your discipline. But I have been able to amass clients and just do a lot of private Zoom parties. And I tell
Mm-hmm.
you, like, yeah, you use Russia as an example. Like, I DJ'd for a Russian company for a holiday party, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they paid the PayPal invoice and kept it rocking. It was
Right.
it is really cool, and it's like I definitely agree. Where I'm like, I'm never gonna like completely give up on this virtual
No.
space because people are still there. I got two corporate clients even later this week. Like, I do think it's great, but of course with corporate events, it's not always it's not your heart, it's not always your music, right? It's like, okay, I got to play some
No.
music that the crowd gonna like, and that is our job as a DJ, right? It's not a completely selfish act. But the best part about when you build a fan base of people that love you or love love myself, where they know what they're getting
And
when
that's the thing about Twitch though, too. It's like because everybody aspires to get all of these corporate jobs and this and that and this and that and da 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 da.
yeah,
But it comes with a price because it's kind of like even the DJ, and even though I love it so much, sometimes it can just be a job. There are some days where you're just like, ooh, let me just do this job. Let me get through this job
mhm,
because people will reach out to you and they're like, we like you,
mhm,
but
yeah,
we need you to be the AK for Dairy Queen, not
yeah.
the regular AK.
Not the regular
So that's not the same AK, right?
QAK,
Because
real different.
I don't necessarily, I might not play Macarena in my free time. I might
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I might play it there.
If the client
And
wants it, like, and it is what it is. But I think that's also
yeah,
for me, and I don't mean to cut you off. I just think like, but I think that's where the art is and what makes us unique. Where like I love when I can go DJ at Disney, and of course, what I play at Disney is gonna be very different than what I play
mhm,
on Twitch. But the art of it, and maybe where there's like a vibe. Either way, I'm so appreciative of the opportunities. Is in that like we can craft something very special that is unique to us, even if it is through, as you said, the Dairy Queen or like the Disney filter. It's like
mhm,
only you can make a set the way you make a set. And
mhm.
there could be a few Dairy Queen DJs, but you might be the most unique one, and that's why they keep hiring you.
Well, it's just the personality, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That has a lot to do with it.
Mhm.
The people that we actually are kind of come through in the DJing and how that whole brand is crafted and how you go about doing your work and handling your business. So the focus and the drive and all of that type of stuff. I just feel like in my personal life, I'm kind of detail oriented. I am
Mhm.
once I want to do something, like I'm not really at this stage deterred by the obstacles anymore. So I've gotten out of that, praise God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cause so it's like if you tell me, oh, you gotta do this, like when I went to DJ school,
Yeah.
that was a year-long program. It was 11 and a half months.
Sure.
And it was a rigorous program. Like
Mhm.
I was the last class of that school's long program like that. Now they're
Wow.
on an accelerated program where you do it in a couple of months. So it's a little bit different setup,
Yeah.
less stressful,
Mhm.
but it was scary. Like I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. Not
Yeah.
uh nothing about no bars,
Mhm.
dropping it on the one, nothing. She knew nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just now if you say this is how you get it, I'm just gonna plow through the difficulties until I get to the other side because I just feel like I really don't have time to do anything else. You know what I'm saying? Either you
Of
get your
course.
shit or get off the pot. Like
Ooh, come
we
on
find
now.
ourselves talking about things
Yeah.
for a long time with friends, with family. Pull the trigger.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the trigger, make the time, figure it out. When we talk about it again, I want to hear some movement. I want to hear about, even if you didn't knock it out of the park, it could be movement where you lost money, made a mistake,
But you
you
moved.
know,
But you
but
moved.
but there was some movement. Like the conversations that we keep having, that ain't hitting on nothing. It's just a whole very much so action driven vibe
Yeah.
for 2021. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Are you going to do it or no? Because it's a lot of people that have a lot of the boxes checked that I have that would be deemed obstacles,
Mm-hmm.
and they still made it crack.
Yep. Yep.
And it happened.
Yeah.
So
1000%. I love what you
yeah.
say about personality too, and I think that's like the unique part. And I know I keep big up in the evolution of the streams. This is the fun part of the interview. Maybe I wish I could do and have your personality sometimes. Like when you started bringing the big booty girls into the green screen. Yo, I looked at Victoria and I said, golly, this is so cool. I said, I wish I could bring some big booty girls into my stream. And I said, man, it would just be a little off brand for me. I feel like I'm like I got this little good boy brand that I built up.
Oh my gosh.
And look, and all these are jokes, y'all. I swear, but like, man, y'all
Not
gotta
the
check
big
it out.
booty girls.
Yo, but you brought the big booty girls into the stream, and they on the green screen, and like y'all got the screen split.
It was lit.
It is so cool, and I just want to shout out again like the evolution of your Twitch streams, because I think that is like the coolest thing, and again a testament to like your personality. You know, like what keeps you on your toes? I mean, like, is it you and your team, or is it you just like, yo, we should like bring some dancers in here, like we should.
I think it's an organic thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that is how I've kind of been making the strides that I have, is because it's organic. You know what I'm saying? It's an organic thing. Like nothing where we're not sitting trying to figure out like, oh, let me look at this person and see how I can recreate this or recreate that. It's just as we review the footage, you know, as we go through the stream and, you know, we notice this didn't work or that didn't work, or if we have an idea to do an interview, like it's a collaborative thing. It's just like brainstorming. We talk it through and figure out, because I don't know the inner workings of a Canon, and I don't know, you know, the presets on the lighting and all of this other stuff. I don't know anything about it. So when I have an idea, she's able to tell me, okay, well, that is feasible or it's not, or we'll need this extra piece of blah, blah, blah. And we just kind of, you know, figure out ways to elevate the stream. How can we get better? What do we feel like doesn't work? Because I mean, this train has been moving really fast as far as like upgrades and updates, because I believe I had one stream that I didn't have a green screen, and that was my collaborative stream with Misha. That was my first stream that I ever did on Twitch.
Sure.
And it was fine. Like I was totally fine with having that. And then we went to a border overlay where it would still be, you could see my background, but then I would have some fun, cool stuff like around the sides, the outsides of the screen, and information and little pop-ups. And, you know, just from watching bigger streamers and other people that have been doing it a little bit longer, you just see a cleaner way of doing things, or we can have a crisper stream, you know what I'm saying? Or better lighting. And so it's just kind of like an evolution of things. I think like the personality does help, because I did not realize that certain things that I didn't really love about myself are the things that are helping me in this space. Like the sound of my voice, I just, inside of my head, my voice sounds so raspy. I feel like I have such a weird voice. And people would tell me all the time, you have a great voice. And I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah, for real.
But then when I listen back to myself when I'm speaking, I can hear it. I can hear where it sounds good, and the cadence and the flow of it, like, I don't know, it just works out for me. I have an ability that even in stressful situations where I'm deathly afraid or nervous,
Mhm.
I can still channel it all down to come across very relaxed.
Yeah.
So when it's crazy and it's a lot going on, I can still manage to read this or shout this person out or
Yeah.
do that. It's just something that turns on.
Yeah.
I don't know
It
what that
really
is, if
could. I
that was
mean,
taught or
no.
there or
Oh,
learned along the way. I don't know.
yeah.
But
No. I mean, it's crazy because for people that don't know, Twitch, right? It is one of those things that, especially when you're at a successful level, like yourself, and maybe even not on AK's level, ahead or behind. Again, that's all subjective.
mhm,
The influx of information that can come in by the minute while you're queuing up songs and mixing songs, right? You're shouting
yeah,
out followers, you're engaging with the chat, and it's just a different kind of influx of information than maybe being in person. But even in person, you're fielding requests, maybe if depending on the corporate event, if it is a
yeah,
corporate event or a wedding, or if it's the club, you're looking at the club and you're saying, okay, what are they dancing to? Okay, they like this. Where you can't exactly see what they're dancing to. Where I feel like Twitch could be a little bit more personable or personal to you as far as the set. People are there for you, but it's just an influx of information and the way that you're able to juggle it. You
yeah.
really make it look effortless. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for people. It's really hard. You really make it effortless. You do the giveaways. And on top of that, it's really cool to see you just dive into other cultures and explore that. Like I remember when you did your Turning Japanese stream and you shouted out,
Oh, the I Stand Japan. You
I
know
stand
what? That was
Japan.
dope. Yo, I
Yo,
had such a good time doing that.
that was so
That was dope.
sick. That was like so sick. And I think again a testament to just your personality and who you are. Like you appreciate culture, you appreciate the art, and it's like you just chose like, hey, yo, here's a niche, let's go like shout out Japanese women DJs, and you went in and I imagine that was probably a culturally insightful experience probably for yourself too.
It was dope. It really just comes from there needs to be a certain representation for a girl like me. Point
Mm-hmm.
blank period, right? Okay, because as a black woman, these spaces that we're not being allowed into is very confusing when we're the ones that created the space, first of all, and then we're not getting an invitation. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Second of all, it's like we want you to be this kind of black girl
Mm-hmm.
in order to be in this space. And there's a lot of different types of black women, black girls, you know what I mean? We come in all types of combinations.
Yeah.
But the one thing that people need to stop counting out is black men and women that seem ghetto to you or whatever the word is that you want to try to attach to it that
Yeah.
is a negative connotation. Like, I'm over it
Yeah.
because there's some phenomenal, dynamic, brilliant people
Yes.
that come from said ghetto, and
Mhm.
I'm sick of the shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people need to see that somebody that you might assume I'm a certain type of woman just because of the packaging,
Yeah.
don't put me in a box because you don't know what's going on.
Never.
Because I can still show up and do so many different things that you're assuming I'm limited and I don't have a knowledge of certain things because I'm not talking the way that you want me to talk. But
Mhm.
the guy that has the Southern accent can talk like that and
Mhm.
still be respected and looked at like he's
Mhm.
smart.
Mhm.
But I can't because I'm using slang or
Yeah.
I want to talk in a certain way. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a certain amount of representation of black women showing the range that we possess.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Some
I
queen shit happening, okay?
queen shit only. And black people are not a monolith, and again, you're a testament to that. And I think that's why you deserve to be celebrated, in a space like this.
Yeah.
Another part of your brand identity, if that's what you want to call it, that I just love. I've been practicing actually
Mm.
a little bit of veganism. I'm not gonna lie. I can make some pretty
What?
fire vegan chili. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I do a lot of meatless days. I still like a little egg here and there, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know, but I'm low on dairy. I got the, you know, been bringing it in slowly. I got the vegan butters. You know what I'm saying? I got the vegan sour cream. You know, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm not 100% there yet, but I think it's incredible. How long have you been vegan? Because I love how on your Twitch streams, I feel like this is something that I only noticed recently, and maybe this is a recent update, but you have
Mhm.
a space for treats, and like you click it, and people can order.
Send me food while I'm on the stream and it shows up to my door. It's amazing.
That
Okay.
is so cool. So it's food for you. What I thought it was you click it, if you could order food to the viewer, but depending on where people are watching from, that
Yeah, they can tip you in food. It's called Treat Stream. So they just click the
that's
link
so cool.
and you have these items that you picked out from various restaurants. So it's like to keep the price down, they keep it to $25. So you can only order like one or two items at best at a time because it needs to be $25 total with taxes, fees, delivery fees, and your item.
Yeah,
So it's kind of cool. Like people can just tip you in food, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And it's going to be something that you've already picked out. So you never really know what restaurant they chose from or what's coming,
yeah.
but you did pick it. So it won't be anything that you don't
That you
like or
don't
you
like.
don't want
Yeah.
to eat, but brilliant. Lucrative put me onto that. And she's been putting a lot of streamers onto that. Like it's actually the most phenomenal little thing that I've found on Twitch. Like it brightens my year whenever people show up at my door while I'm on stream with a snack. Like
With vegan food, like,
name a better duo. Like
oh man.
what?
Yeah, well, I mean, to the question, yeah. So, how long have you been vegan? And is that the secret? You know what I'm saying? Like to look and be like AK.
This is the thing. Vegan, I've been vegan for 4 years, right? So the whole thing with me becoming a vegan literally like restarted my life,
Wow.
in a better, more clear, more purposeful way.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that I was doing, my way of thinking, moving, just a lot of stuff that I was doing was kind of tied to that diet.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
it went deep, like way deeper than I could ever imagine. Like I just became more aware of so many different things about myself and other things. Like both of my parents passed away very young from cancer. Both of my grandparents on both sides, they all passed away. So six people in my life, grandparents and parents, are all not living because of cancer. You know what I mean? And I wasn't really stressed out about it, but it was kind of like a little thing in the back of my mind, like, you know, traditional medicine trains us to think stuff like that runs in our family and you got this gene or that gene. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, you might want to do a little more research because dogs are getting cancer and
Yeah.
children are getting cancer. So what's the common denominator? A lot of it is
Oh,
food history. You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? Our identity is very much so intertwined in our food history. It's like a part of who we are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it doesn't, we haven't been groomed to question where stuff is coming from, what journey it takes to get to us, what certain things are that we're eating and how it affects our organs, and even with other things like, feminine hygiene products and deodorants. And it's a lot of stuff, the way
Yeah.
that where we live is manufacturing foods and
Mm-hmm.
household cleaning
Hmm.
products and toiletries is not for the betterment of wellness. It just is not.
A
It's
true
about
fact.
it's about
Yeah.
the money and how efficient we can make something work. And if we need to tamper with it or add chemicals or, bump up the growth of these animals to, grow to this size in 3 months instead of a year, then we'll just do that because that's what the need calls for.
Yeah.
And we're just ingesting stuff and, going to the doctor and taking medicine that doesn't work. And in our mind, we think it's working and
But it's just a
nothing's getting
placebo.
better. And we're just eating how we used to eat. And I just started doing some research. Like when my mother was dying, I'm going to be straight up. A lot of the things that she was telling me, I didn't understand
Mm.
really what she was saying because she didn't have the verbiage to explain. We didn't really know what GMOs were.
Mm.
We really didn't know. She just said, Dr. Sebi told me I can't have meat or I can't drink soda or
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to be eating candy. Now that I'm in this thing, I know the reasons why, but I didn't understand it then. It was like,
Mm.
hmm, that's interesting. That's just what she needs to do because she has cancer to try to get better. But upon research, my friend, like the way that they're manufacturing this stuff is like slow, silent killer. And I would just rather do my due diligence to make sure that my wellness is looked after, my uterus is looked after
Definitely.
in a way that I know is sustainable and going to give me the best life that I can have. And no food flavor is more important than my health because it's all fun and games until they say you got stage 4, blah, blah, blah. Then everybody wants to try to figure it out then. But it's like we have to eat to live. We have to become detached from things like material possessions, foods, all of it. It's like
Oof.
we got to get free of that stuff.
Uh-oh. They don't want to hear you. They don't want to hear you there. But look, I'm a firm believer in the adage of letting go of your earthly tethers, letting
Mm,
go of of what is pretty much not of God, dare I say, what is not bringing you closer to God, and material will not, bad habits will not, you know what I'm saying? Purity is going to be in discipline that you created for yourself and discipline that you bring into your life.
yeah.
I just fully agree with you there. That's like, you said let go of the material, let it go. And I feel like maybe COVID, a part of maybe this new consciousness that we're all raising to, is bringing us there. I think COVID has been one of the most humanizing and humbling experiences that the world has ever undergone. Where maybe we what we thought was so sacred and special before, we realize now it doesn't really matter. Just kind of existing does, and living and thriving
Yeah.
does.
I mean, well, we just have to start with we're a bunch of functioning human beings trying to relate through like trauma and trauma bonds and that kind of stuff. So it's like it's interesting to interact with human beings and relate to in friendships, relationships, and anything because it's all of this stuff
Yeah.
that we're kind of carrying around that prevents us from really having the type of understanding or compassion for each other that keep us from doing hurtful things. I feel like
Mm.
in this life, I feel like I come across people more so now because I'm more aware. Because I've done a ton of whack shit in my life to people. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like
Sure.
things that I'm not proud of, things that I've had to apologize for, things that people will never forgive me for. Like
Mhm.
I've made a lot of mistakes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And if I just had a certain level of compassion for myself, if I
Mhm.
had a certain level of understanding for myself and love and acceptance for myself and the things that where fallen short, I'm able to understand what happened, forgive myself, quit dragging myself through this ringer. That allows you when you're carrying all of that, you handle people in that way. You're
Yes.
trying not to get hurt.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You're trying to duck and dodge and make sure you're not hurt,
Yeah.
but then you're trying to appear okay. And I
Mhm.
don't know what the fuck that's about.
Yeah.
And in wanting to appear okay, that spills into I gotta be right.
Mhm.
Or I can't apologize for the fuck shit that I did. Or if somebody
Mhm.
calls me on something, now I'm mad at you
Yeah.
and the friendship has to dissipate because you told me no, or
Yeah.
you told me you didn't like something.
Yeah.
Like, what
Totally.
is all of that? We
Well,
all need
it's programs. It's
intense
defense mechanisms.
therapy
Yeah. Oh God.
indefinitely
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
because
Look.
it gets tricky.
Jesus medication therapy, personal development. Look. I got four that are necessary for give me look. Stay medicated. Stay prayed up. You better go to look. Therapy is so. It's one of those things that like. I haven't had some sessions and I have not been in therapy since COVID actually, and it's like
Wow.
and I don't know how like but I'm in this space, and it's just one of those things, and this too as an entrepreneur, it's going about and getting healthcare is a little bit different than when you have a corporate job. And so it was one of those things that was a little bit more accessible to me when I had benefits within a corporate structure. But when you don't have that anymore, you got to go out of your way, and you have to value yourself enough to say I'm worth whatever, how much these sessions are, and you're seeing how much they are per session rather than just your insurance taking care of it. It's one of those things that
I mean, but it's ways,
oh
I
yeah.
go to a nonprofit place, so that's why I get the
Oh,
sessions that are discounted. You know what I'm saying?
oh
There
come
are
on.
places that, I mean, and it's not, there are places that offer services based on your income, right? So if you're unemployed or you're getting unemployment or
Yeah.
you're a sole proprietor or independent contractor,
Hmm.
any of those things, they can base it on your income. I mean, it's like going to get a haircut from a barber school. Not everybody there is going to be fired, but some people will, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
And
totally.
you can just funnel through the people if it's not a fit for you until you find someone that's a fit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So I just went into it with the mindset of I need this, so I'm going to figure out how to make it work for me. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go in with, oh, well, they might not be as good because they're doing these certain amount of hours as a student before they graduate. Like, I don't care about any of that. I just
Yeah,
need to still be able to go and still be able to afford it
yeah.
with the money that I make. And so
And at the end of the day,
that's what I'm doing.
and at the end of the day, therapy is amazing because it's someone holding space for you,
Hmm.
and that is so important, and especially someone who is unbiased and is not your relationship, is not your friends, is not your family, right? Someone to come in and objectively want to be there to hold space and give resolve. We are gonna have to connect on the nonprofit
Yeah, I'll give you the
organization
info.
because that
Definitely.
like that is amazing, and we'll get that to the listeners uh, as well. I do want to round out, and I always want to give space to shout out, whatever it is that you have coming up. Naturally, Twitch is where people can find you, but you also have a podcast as well, Ask Asia,
Hmm.
that you do with your friend Asia. Are we going to be getting
Yeah.
more Ask Asia? Because it's one of my favorite podcasts that I enjoy listening to.
Oh my God, it's so fun. Yeah, Ask Asia, you know what is so funny? Like, I'm the tag along on Ask Asia. My other friend of mine, Asia,
Yeah.
had a really heavy following on Tumblr,
Mm,
for
sure,
years,
sure, sure,
like
sure.
big numbers in the Tumblr days. And
Yeah.
that kind of transitioned to her to answering all of these questions,
Mhm.
like the sex positive questions,
Yeah. Yeah.
from all of her listeners and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, I want to do a podcast."
Hmm.
And I think I'm gonna call it I Ask Asia. I'm like, oh, that'd be a dope idea. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
totally do it, girl.
Yeah.
And she was like, I need a co-host. You should be the co-host. I'm like, me? Nobody's, they don't even know who I am. She's like, you're so funny.
Yeah.
I think that it would just give this extra, because sometimes those type of questions can be really serious when you're dealing with
Yeah.
sexual health and
Yeah.
the things that can come from all of that stuff. So she was like, I think it would just kind of lighten up the mood sometimes to get your perspective and just sometimes the way you say things. So we started to do it, but COVID, the 19 said,
Mhm.
we're not going to be doing a podcast. So the
Yeah.
funny thing is that we've kind of been on pause, but with the birth of, what is it, Clubhouse
Yeah.
Global,
Yeah. Yeah.
we are going to take that show to that road, and we're going to be doing Ask
Okay.
Asia on Clubhouse, which will be dope because now people can talk with us
Yes.
as opposed
Yes.
to us just answering the questions, reading the questions. People can chime in
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
give their take on the questions. So that's what we're going to try to do while we're still kind of in this weird limbo,
Yeah.
pandemic-y type of space to kind of
Definitely.
keep that thing moving
Yeah.
because I like to do it. It's fun. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's not as hard to do something when you're just on the phone and you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about the visual side of it and all that
Yeah.
other stuff. So it should be fun. We're actually going to do our first go round of that, the test podcast next Tuesday. So I'll keep you posted on that. All my
Please.
stuff is posted on Instagram that I have going on because I'm doing virtual parties like a
Mhm.
100% now and
Yep.
all that
Yep.
stuff. So I post pretty frequently on there. I'm on Twitch 3 times a week. I do have pop-ups and stuff come on, but I try to schedule myself out a month in advance to not get Twitch burnout because the
Yeah.
Twitch burnout can be real.
Yes, I can.
It's a very intense, strenuous schedule.
Yeah.
So, being a DJ is not it's not easy. It's a hard business to
Yes, it
break
is.
into. It's
Yes,
very
it is.
clicky. Um, and it if you are sensitive,
Yeah.
it can kind of kick your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of no's, a lot more no's than I have yeses. Even though I've had a lot of great jobs and booked a lot of dope things, I've had a lot of moments where I'm teary eyed, like,
Mhm.
so I guess they don't want Keisha. Keisha can't go. Bye. But
Yeah.
we're here now. We're we're
Yeah.
we're making our rounds. Like more people are finding out about me. I mean, another thing about Twitch that's been interesting is now I understand like really how people can be annoyed with the amount of responsibility that comes with more people being your followers and
Yeah.
more people tapping in with you. It's
Sure.
not all we love you.
No.
We love you. You're amazing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of things that come with it. You're being pulled in a bunch of different directions. Um, Everyone is DMing you or sending you messages, and they think that they're the only ones that are sending you messages. And if you don't get back to them fast enough, then they have an attitude.
Yeah.
If they come on the stream and you don't want to play a request, then they're like, oh, she's a bitch. I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm not coming back to her channel. But it's like,
Yeah.
listen, there's different flavors of every combination and formula of the way you could see a stream being done on Twitch is offered on Twitch. Now you got to come into a space open and ready to just roll with the vibe of what that streamer brings to Twitch. You can't carry what Malcolm does on his stream over to what I do because we're two different individuals and the way we display our art is going to be different. So Malcolm might play bingo. I might play no games. Malcolm might have a bunch of fireworks. I might have nothing. You might just be here in my living room with bad lighting, but it is what it is. So, but don't harass me and say what you want me to do and what you need me to do because you don't know my process behind how I pick the songs, what I'm gonna do, how many hours it took me to do it. And you don't know how many jobs I've been on that I've had to play requests and I don't like to play them because they don't fit the mood. It's always the wrong time. It's always a weird song. The BPM ain't right. It's not about the request. Let me take you trust me to take you somewhere. It's a journey. Just ride in the car, roll your window down. No, you cannot smoke cigarettes in my car, period. That's it. Like, so it's tricky, if you don't, it's levels to this. When they say it's levels to it, it's levels to it. So at the core of it, if you don't love music, stop tapping into shit because you want attention. Go to therapy. That's not why you start doing stuff, because this is a full-on job for way less money.
And just like that, another episode of On The Brink. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to follow AK-47 everywhere at The Real DJ AK-47. Of course, get over to her Twitch right now. Make sure you're followed. Make sure you're subscribed for non-stop fun. I'm serious, guys. There's no virtual party quite like one that DJ AK-47 throws down at. Make sure to follow the show as well at OT Brink everywhere. Make sure you're subscribed, please, because it does, in fact, mean the world. You can follow me as well at Malcolm Alex NDR. Our theme music is by Aurelius, the producer. Thanks for listening, and God bless.